So this is how I've made over $1.5 million in additional e-commerce SEO revenue for the brands that I've been working with. There's no ads, no social media that's needed, just organic Google search. I'm going to pop up, traffic charts, revenue charts to show you this is real, and I'm going to explain why this happens and how this happens. And ultimately, it comes down to the compounding power of doing the right fundamentals consistently across multiple brands. So I wanted to jump straight in. The real story behind these numbers is it wasn't a single viral campaign. It wasn't a clever one-time trick. It wasn't just a lucky moment. What it was the same fundamentals repeated across multiple brands, patience to let the work compound over time, and then staying in the game long enough to actually let the results come to light and build upon themselves. And so that's happened because SEO is a compounding channel. It's not a quick win. And so most marketing channels work on a linear timeline, whereas SEO doesn't. And so you need to understand that difference, because that will make you realize where the SEO revenue is going to come from for your brand. So for example, paid ads, you spend $1, you generally get a sale. You spend another $1, you get another sale. And the moment that you stop spending, those results will stop. And so today's work that you do does nothing really to make tomorrow's work cheaper. Whereas with SEO, every piece of work that you do today keeps producing returns for years to come. And so a collection page that you might optimize this week can start ranking and can compound and generate revenue every month after that for years in the future. And again, I'll put up some charts here showing that actually happening. And so this is a real example from a brand I work with, the compounding effect in real numbers. So in month 2, after 2 months, they had an ROI on my fee of 4x. And that's great. They're getting a return, things are looking good. And anyone would be happy with that if that was paid ads. 2 to 3 ROAS on your ads is generally pretty good. But then that same brand doing the exact same thing almost 12 months later was making a 45x return on their investment. And that's because, again, SEO is compounding. So if you look at SEO over a 90-day window, you might be a little disappointed. But if you look at it over a 12, 18, 20-month window, then you're going to see why it outperforms most other channels. And so yes, you get results in those first couple of months, but comparatively, they look so small compared to the 12 months or the 18 months that you continue to do SEO. And so this is how the first couple of years, or the first year, of SEO generally plays out. And so the honest reality is that the first 3 to 6 months can feel slow, even when the work is being done properly. And so you will see returns, but as I said, they'll feel tiny in comparison to what happens by month 12. And so here's exactly what each phase generally looks like. So phase 1, month 1 to 3, generally the foundation stays. So technical audits are done, keyword research, site mapping, collection page optimizations, internal linking setup. We do all this work at the get-go, so then you can get small keyword movements in Google Search Console and in your actual website, and then slight increase in traffic and some extra sales starting to come in. So you'll see some things happening, but as I said, it's not going to be anything ridiculous unless you are lucky. Then phase 2, which is month 3 to 6, is visibility. And this is where pages that we've optimized in those first couple of months, or those first couple of weeks even, are starting to rank in the top 10, maybe even in the top positions, depending on where you were. Revenue increases start to become more noticeable. And so one of the brands that I've worked with went from 3 to 6K in this window. And another one I've worked with went from 16 to 23 in this 3 to 6 month window. And so again, great returns, but that doesn't really give you the full results that you'll see in months 6 to 12, which is where the compounding really starts to take effect. And so another brand that I work with went from 83,000 a month to 223,000 a month from Google search. And they saw most of that growth happen in that second half, so in the 6 to 12 month period. And so every link from month 2, every collection page from month 2, everything that we did at the start was still working in month 12 and was compounding. And so that's why SEO is just such a profitable channel, because the longer that you do it, the more money you're going to make in the long run. And so again, these are some real results from brands that I work with. We've got a US automotive brand. They went from 83 to 223. I think they're now at like 270. We've continued to grow that number. Australian beauty brand, they went from 16 to 36. This is all from Google search. This isn't the brand's revenue overall. This is just their organic Google search component. And then another small organic food brand has gone from 3K to almost 10K a month. And again, this is all from SEO. There's no ads, there's no ad spend, there's no social media. It's all just making sure that your website shows up more often in Google and AI overviews, LLMs, and whatever the new tool is these days. and we're adding more revenue to these brands as a result. So if you're an e-commerce brand owner and you're looking to build something that really lasts and grow your revenue, then click the link down below. You can work with me, we can have a chat and see if SEO is suited for your store. Now, it's important to note here, all of the numbers that I share have come from a few small brands when we've done everything right. This isn't from, hundreds or, thousands of brands that I'm just getting like tiny results for. This is only for a handful of brands that we're getting massive results for. And so it's, again, because the SEO work was done properly and it was sustained long enough that the compounding could take effect. And so this is the pattern that I use all the time to produce these results. It's doing proper keyword research. It's building out collection pages that Google can actually understand. So we're not necessarily building for Google, but we're building it so Google can understand the context of those pages much better. We have a good internal linking structure, which is a big thing that a lot of brands don't do properly. Build quality backlinks consistently over time. And then finally, just staying in it long enough. So the compounding effects, again, this is what I wanted to make this video for, is to explain that the compounding effect of SEO is so, it's real. It happens all the time. And this is how we are able to achieve the results time and time again. And there's something that I notice consistently with brands that get there and the brands that don't. So the brands that fail with SEO either don't have any other supporting channels, so they're relying purely on SEO to grow. That can work sometimes depending on your brand, but ultimately SEO is a demand capture channel. And if you're not creating demand for your brand or for your products elsewhere through ads, through social media, through email marketing, whatever it may be, then really SEO is going to struggle to really boost your revenue. And then the other thing is just quitting too early, quitting at month 3, quitting at month six, and not actually seeing the full effect of SEO taking your brand's revenue to where you want it to be. So the brands that actually do succeed, a lot of them have deep product ranges. So this works, you can do this for any brand, but really if you have multiple products, like hundreds or thousands of products, then you've got way more opportunities to create collection pages, to create more content, build topical authority, get more entry points into your website. So deep product ranges are always great for SEO. And as I said, pairing this with other channels. So ads create demand and SEO can capture it. So together it builds a sort of flywheel that helps your brand accelerate. And then finally, brands that see the long-term vision and understand that SEO isn't, something that they're going to see massive returns in month 1 to 3, but if they continue with it for months 6 to 12 and beyond, that's where you're really going to get a massive ROI. Those brands that actually commit to that are really going to be the ones that succeed. And so that SEO and ads flywheel that I just mentioned it's a real thing. Brands that hit the biggest numbers understood that SEO and paid ads are not competitors, that they are partners. And so a lot of agencies might push, they want to run ads. We're an ads agency, so don't do SEO. We're an SEO agency, so don't do ads. It's not the case. Like, I do SEO, but ads are super important. And when you pair these two together, then this is what can happen. Ads will bring visitors to the brand through creating demand, through creating awareness, and then those visitors develop brand awareness, and then they search for the brand later. They go to Google, they go to AI, they search for your products. And so when you do that, SEO can capture them right when they're ready to convert. And then they also convert at higher rates because they're already warm to your products and warm to your brand. And then finally, higher organic revenue allows for more profitable ad spend. Rather than just relying purely on ad spend to grow, you've got lower customer acquisition costs through this SEO and ads flywheel. And so therefore, you're ultimately a more profitable brand in the long run. And so that leads us into the real business impact, which is really having higher margins on your products, a revenue floor that actually holds. So rather than just relying on ads, you actually have revenue that's coming in every month and consistently, because it's based on people searching. People are wanting your products, therefore that revenue is not going to go away just because you haven't spent as much money on ads or because your ads aren't performing as well. And then finally, a business asset that keeps growing. It's not just extra revenue, but it's an asset inside your business that keeps growing the longer that it exists. And finally, is the more profitable ad spend. So as I just said before, this means that your ads are more profitable because SEO is doing the heavy lifting in the demand capture. And so every channel performs better when SEO is doing its job. And so these are the real impacts that can happen for your brand when you do SEO properly. And so if you're ready to build a long-term revenue channel for your e-commerce store, that's what I do, pure SEO for e-commerce brands, helping them grow their revenue, grow their organic traffic. So if you want to do that, click the first link in the description below. If not, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.